Here it is, legends, as you've asked for, an updated tier list on the Matt Furyverse. So we are going to be talking about characters from Cortex Vortex, Boys Club, Knight Riders, and we're going to be going into some serious levels of degeneracy with some of the derivatives. So if you want to know which ones I'm buying, which ones I hold, this is not financial advice, which ones I think could be decent bets, stick around to the end of the video. Cheers, legends. Let's dive straight into it. All right, so we are going to initially look at Cortex Vortex. So we're going to identify all the characters that we can see in there, and then I'm going to place them on a tier list. So starting up, we have the front cover, Beast Seller. Now, Beast for me, no brainer, S tier. If you want to have a look at it on the chart, it looks absolutely beautiful. Has had a nice retracement down from about 6.5 million, holding well at that 4 million mark. So really like this one. Narrative is super clear. Front cover Matt Fury characters have done super well in the past, absolutely cooking. So Beast Seller for me, this one could be a multi-$100 million character. Very, very bullish on Beast Seller. Also, if you want to get alpha like this, but just a whole lot quicker, then make sure you join the Patreon. We've gone absolutely nuts over the last couple of weeks. We've hit multiple coins that have done almost a 20x. We've hit a 59x on Beast. Tons of other calls around that 10 to 20x. So absolutely cooking up a storm. So if you want to join that, there'll be a link to the Patreon in the description. Cheers, legends. Let's get straight into it. All right, so going back to the book, on the second page, we can see we have this character here. Now, this character here's name is Mindfact. Now, I am super damn bullish on Mindfact as well. So for me, that is going into the S tier. Now, the S tier for me has the highest upside. So very, very damn bullish on Mindfact. Really love what the dev's doing. Really love what the team's doing. I love the narrative. Dev is awesome. Team is awesome. And they are going to be getting a tier 1 exchange listing soon. So stay tuned for that. The dev is hyper well connected, and I am pretty damn excited to reveal what's coming up next. All right, looking down the rest of the book. So next page, we have this character here. Now, this character here is called Berry. Now, personally, I'm not in this one. I am in the two before. Now, the narrative is that it's a female frog, and that is fairly damn rare. There's apparently some links to the name Strawberry in Bloom being mentioned previously in some of Matt Fury's work. Look, this level on a chart actually doesn't look too bad. It's bled an enormous amount, which doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to keep bleeding. But yeah, for me, don't know enough about the team, don't know enough about the people working it. So for me, look, I think the narrative's there. I'm going to give it a B, which is still a pretty good result. So yeah, I do see some upside for Berry. Next up, we have Mona. Now, when you're looking at Mona, there are two Monas. Make sure you look at the one with the oldest release date. So this is the original 2 months, 29 days ago, not the one that was released 2 months and 26 days ago. So the correct contract address ends in 00B9. So this is Mona Melter Slime. Really bullish on Mona. Love what the team is doing. Absolute legends. Pop in the Telegram. Check out their Twitter. Really cool artwork. Cool guys. Now, the narrative is also strong as it is the confirmed name. So Mona Melter Slime is the actual name of this NFT heads collection done by Matt Fury. So not only is this the original Mona Melter Slime, but Mona Melter Slime is the actual name that Matt Fury himself intended. So bullish on that. I think it's a hot narrative. And if you want to look on YouTube, you can already see a bunch of people starting to cover it. Bullish on Mona Melter Slime. I think this one is an absolute sender. On the tier list, you know what? It's close to being an S tier. I'm going to chuck it in the A tier list. I do really like this one. I think it is likely going to move up into the S tier list soon, but it is, yeah, still too new for me to really chuck it up into that S tier. Alrighty, now Boss Burger. So this one, a little bit disappointing to me. I actually really liked this one. I thought it was really cool. Now, there was apparently a hack, although if I'm being completely honest, I never really believe it when they say the dev wallet has been hacked. A lot of the time when people say it's hacked, the dev has just sold out all of their supply and then claims a hack and then moves on. So not sure what happened with Boss Burger, but personally, I'm going to be leaving this one alone. Looking at the book, though, it is a bit of a shame as it is a full-page character. And yeah, I think it's pretty damn cool. So yeah, do like it as a character, but once again, I think just after all of the stuff that's happening at the moment, it's not something that I can seriously consider right now. That being said, if I'm wrong and you like Boss Burger, let me know, but I'm going to chuck it in the C tier. Probably lucky not to get a D tier listing, to be completely honest, because of what's going on, but I do think it's a cool character, so yeah, chuck it in the C tier listing. Alrighty, next up we have this character here. I think the most successful one is Bucci. So Bucci, this Bucci here is the largest Bucci, although looks pretty disgusting on the chart, ran up almost immediately to a market cap of 12 mil. So absolutely sent into the heavens and then rugged all the way back down. Currently sitting at 349k, so it is the bigger Bucci. 2 months, 27 days ago. The other one, and I'm not holding either of these, but I just thought it was quite interesting that there is an OG Bucci, so an original one. That was 1 year, 20 days ago. Not sure what the team's doing. I don't hold this. I'm not saying to go buy this. I'm not saying to go buy any of these coins. I'm just talking about them as I think crypto's pretty interesting, but there is another Bucci. But yeah, neither of those I'm going to be seriously buying. I'm going to keep it in the C tier until I know a little bit more. Going back to the book, we then have this character. Now, I cannot find this character, so if anyone knows what this is, please let me know below, or even this little elf thing. So let me know what this skeleton hooded figure is, if anyone knows their name. Yeah, I can't really comment on that one as I do not know the character for that coin. Next page, there are no full characters there, so moving on. Next page, we have Gorth. So Gorth is kind of like this pun on a gothic character. This is the biggest Gorth, currently got a market cap of 400k. It did send quite a lot in the past, and it actually held a floor pretty well. So this one doesn't look too bad. I don't own it, but look, compared to the other ones, I think this one doesn't look too bad. So look, I'm going to chuck it in the B tier. Once again, don't know an enormous amount about it. There are just so many of these characters. Going back to the book, so this one, the largest character is called Gas Pass. If you want to zoom out once again, doesn't look amazing on the chart, but it held a floor pretty nicely. Like it didn't get below 900k, which is actually quite impressive. So this one had a decent start. It ran up to an all-time high of around 15 million, but it held the floor pretty strong. So you know what? I actually think this one, the chart looks better to me than a lot of the other coins. So Gas Pass, I'm going to chuck you up in the B tier as well. Now, after that, we have this character here. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this character's name is. There are a few options. The one that's trending at the moment is Dr. Mutant. So this one has pumped kind of out of nowhere, 242. I don't have any confidence in bidding this one. It'll be interesting to see how the price holds up. So Dr. Mutant for me, I'm going to give that one a C listing. Now, not trying to FUD it, don't know enough about it. Could be super bullish. Just don't know an enormous amount about this coin, and there are so many variants. Moving on to the next page, so nothing that's a full page character there. Now we have this one, so Monomelter Slime, super damn bullish on that. Talked about it earlier. For me, that's going to be in the A tier list. Now, there is another one. However, the bullish one is definitely the one with the contract address 00B9. That is the original, and I think there is always value in originality. So bullish on that Mona. Now, next up, we have this character here. Now, this one is a bit interesting, to be completely honest. I think this is actually quite a cool character. However, the only character that I could really find that interests me, there is no social life. Like the Twitter's dead. So to me, it looks primed for a community takeover. Now, this one was Happy Rot. Now, nothing is happening here. So if you click on the Twitter, there's been no posts since the 12th of June. If you click on the website, there's no website that's linked. And I'm not too sure about the Telegram. So definitely not trying to say this one, but that's the only character that I could really find. There was a based one that just absolutely rugged, and there was a Sol one that absolutely rugged, but yeah, the one on ETH, I mean, who knows? It's definitely not something that you can bid with any confidence, but it is a full-page character, so who knows? For that reason, I'm going to have to chuck it in the C tier list. Pretty much zero confidence, but yeah, crazier things have happened than someone CTOing this. After that, looking down, we have no real full-page character here. We have this thing. Once again, don't have any idea what this character is called. I guess it's kind of near a full-page character, but yeah, if anyone knows what that is, once again, let me know in the comments section below. We have here a couple of characters, nothing full page. This character here is reportedly called Dog Dragon, not a full page character. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if that one gets CTO'd, and nothing that's full page here. And then on the final page, nothing that is full page there. So for me, those are the full page characters from Cortex Vortex. They're the only ones that I kind of really have given any attention to. And yeah, that's kind of how I see Cortex Vortex. So with that out of the way, let's move on to Boys Club. So with Boys Club, it would be remiss not to start with the Pepes. Now we have the biggest Pepe, which I'm going to chuck in the A tier. And I'm also going to chuck Pepe coin in the A tier. I'm going to chuck them both in the A tier for different reasons. Now, Pepe has a market cap of 4.5 billion. Now, this was not the original Pepe. However, you can't argue that this is the biggest and most successful Pepe. So this one, huge coin, 4.5 billion. Yeah, very, very, very impressive to get and hold to a market cap of that. Now, my personal favorite is actually Pepe coin. However, that being said, you can't argue with the size. The other one has been crushing it, and this one has been lagging. That being said, the team has been around since 2016. They are cooking, and I do still love the OG Pepe, so I have to put that in at least the same tier as the bigger Pepe. So yeah, bullish on those two coins. Now, after Pepe in Boys Club, the best friend of Pepe is called Brett. Now, the biggest Brett, once again, is Brett on base. Gonna have to chuck that in the A tier. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, Brett on base is a Cabal coin, rah, rah, rah. That being said, you cannot argue with the strength. Now, I don't think Brett on base, much like Pepe, is gonna net you 1000x or even 100x. None of this is financial advice, but the strength of the community is undoubtedly there. Now, Brett on base has a market cap of $500 million, so it's still a really big market cap coin. And the other Brett, I'm also going to chuck in the same tier, which I know is going to upset a lot of people. Now, once again, my personal favorite is Brett on ETH. Now, Brett on ETH, I love the community. I think they are absolute legends. So this is the original Brett. Now, its market cap is under 10 million, so it's a fraction of the market cap. They're doing really cool stuff, and yeah, I do like the Brett on ETH team, so I hope this one absolutely sends for all those in there. So I'm going to chuck it in the A tier, which is still a very darn good ranking. Alrighty, now I forgot to do a couple of other Pepe variants. So we have based Pepe. Now, based Pepe is actually holding really strongly at around 14 million. It did send all the way up into the absolute stratosphere, hitting a market cap of around 180 million. So it absolutely sent. Since there, it's kind of held fairly strongly around this 10 to 20 million range. Not seriously considering based Pepe. However, based variants have done exceptionally well in the past. So I'm going to chuck that one in the B tier. And then after Brett, we have Andy. Now, there is a truckload of Andys to choose from. So for me personally, the blue chip Andy, not that I hold any of these, has to be Andy on ETH. Now, it's not the original. However, it does have a market cap of 75.5 million. So this is undoubtedly the biggest Andy. For that reason, that one has to go in at least the B tier. Might even chuck that up into the A tier. Now, all of the other Andys for me are going to be below that. So the ones that I think are worth noting are Andy on base, which I'm going to chuck in the C tier. Although derivatives on base have done pretty well, for me, if one of them is going to run, it's likely going to be Pepe on base. We also have the OG Andy, which I really would love to see do well. That being said, it just has had no trading volume recently. Sitting at a market cap of 135k, look, it makes it really, really difficult to bid this. It's been on my radar for ages, but 6 months, no movement. Yeah, team is cooking, really good dudes, so I actually wish them the best of luck, but makes it hard for me to bid. We also have Andy Man, so the reason that I like this one, not that I own it like any of the Andys, but I like it because a couple of the Book of Ethereum guys, mainly Crypto Hustler, CTO'd this one, so they are good people. And I think most things that they touch do pretty well in the space. So Andy Man, currently market cap looks pretty bled out. There is a lot of competition in the Andy narrative. I'm going to chuck it in the C tier again, but I do once again wish them all the best of luck. They're absolute legends. Alrighty, and now I'm going to go onto the wolf derivatives. So once again, a massive oversaturation of wolves. So the main land wolf is this land wolf on ETH. Now, it is not the original. This is the blue chip one, 50 million. So I can't ignore that, even if I do love the OG status. So for me, once again, I'm going to chuck this one in the A tier list. Not that I own it, and I do not own any of these wolves because of the oversaturation. The other one that I like is the OG wolf, so this is the original land wolf. That being said, once again, it hasn't done an enormous amount. I mean, it has held pretty strongly. It held a floor above 1 million, so I think if you're going to consider either of the wolves, these are the two to consider. So the blue chip one and then the original. Now below that, we have wolf on AVAX, we have wolf on Solana, and we have based wolf. And I'm going to chuck all of those in the C tier. Might even chuck wolf on Solana in the D tier. Now that's probably personally biased by me because I just don't see longevity in projects on Sol. So yeah, for me, a little bit biased there. And that wraps up the main characters from Boys Club. We do have another couple of characters that feature in Boys Club. We have Bird Dog. Now with the Bird Dogs, the main Bird Dog is also the original. Now the biggest Bird Dog is this Bird Dog here on ETH. Now while it's not a main character, it does actually feature quite a lot in Boys Club. Once again, not seriously considering it. I'll chuck it in the C tier. And then the only other character that pops up is Fofar. Not super bullish on Fofar. Gonna chuck it down in the D tier. Now this could change, and if the Fofar community is actually active out there, then sing out. Definitely make some noise down below, and I'm super happy to be proven wrong. I just think that it's a weaker character than some of the others in this narrative. But you know what, actually, I'm going to chuck it up in the C tier as it is still the original one, so yeah. Look, chuck it up in the C tier, not buying it, not seriously considering it, but you know what? It is still an OG character, so have to give it at least a C tier listing. Now, Mystery, I'm going to chuck that in the D tier. Mystery killed one of the more bullish narratives. There was Hoppy and Mystery, and when I say killed, that's probably a little bit harsh. Now, Mystery did seem like a bit of a liquidity grab, and it stole a truckload of liquidity from Hoppy. Now, Hoppy was absolutely cooking, and then Mystery started taking off, and it really hurt Hoppy's. And I actually covered Hoppy quite a lot back in the day. Mystery kind of put a dampener on that one. That being said, Hoppy looks pretty bottomed out right now, and I do think that this one could potentially come back. But at the same time, there is now always going to be this PvP, this Hoppy versus Mystery, which does make it harder to bid. So Mystery is going in the D tier. Hoppy, I'm going to chuck it up in the B tier for old time's sake, but it's probably more of a C tier character, although I do think it has the potential to be an A tier character. If it wasn't for the Mystery PvP, it would be in the A tier list. So damn bullish on that. I'm also looking down and realize that I didn't actually do Electrogl from Cortex Vortex. Now, it's not a full page character. You know what? I might chuck it at the end of the B tier listing just because the team are good dudes. Not a full page character, but I do like this one. So back to Knight Riders. Hoppy is the main character of Knight Riders. Now there is a Watt. Not seriously considering bidding Watt. There's a couple of them, but the largest Watt, not seriously considering it. I'll chuck it in the C tier as it is an OG. There's also Draggy and Boppy. So both of those, I'm going to chuck them in the C tier. Now the Boppy community, bullish. I really do like them, so I hope this one actually does well. So shout out to the Boppy fam. You guys used to raid my content a lot. Love to see you back down in the comment section. So let me know if there's any Boppy support still out there. Damn bullish. So those are the main characters out of Knight Riders. We have the 4 main characters, as you can see here. We have Hoppy, Boppy, Draggy, and Watt. So those are the 4 main characters. This is just kind of how I'm seeing them. We've also got base Hoppy, which I'm going to chuck in the C tier, as although this had a great narrative when Hoppy was running, it really did hurt it when the mystery stuff came out. There's also Matt Furie. Chuck it in the C tier as well. I think this one has potential. It's the NFT head's name of Matt Furie, but once again, don't own this one. We also have Froggo. I'm going to chuck it in the C tier. Now, I tried to find this one when I was looking at Cortex Vortex plays. I really struggled. I couldn't find it. So if anyone could actually find it in the book, please let me know what page it's on. Because, yeah, I cannot find this character in Cortex Vortex. And down the bottom, we just have a double up of a couple of other coins. We also have base Landwolf. So I'll chuck that once again in the C tier listings. Alrighty, that is me. That is how I'm kind of seeing it. Let's have a little bit of a look at how we are going. Couple of coins that got a little bit stiff not to get in that S tier, but for me, S tier is reserved only for things that I think can absolutely send. These are projects that can giga send overnight. These are projects that I think have 50x's, 100x's, crazy amount of upside. Not financial advice, but for me, the most bullish narrative in crypto at the moment is meme coins, and more specifically, Cortex Vortex meme coins. Now, what is more bullish in Cortex Vortex than the front cover and the second page? Those are the 2 most bullish meme coins in Cortex Vortex, and just behind them, I think one of the coolest looking characters and a confirmed NFT head's name, Mona Melter Slime. They're what I'm bidding. I'll go through now and tell you which ones I own. And I own about 5 or 6 of these coins spread out. If you want to know which ones, join the Discord. Link in the description. That's going to wrap it up for me today. If I've missed any, please let me know. I like doing these kind of videos. So yeah. Also, if you want me to do this one with potential X's as opposed to tiers, then let me know as well. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, as always, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I'll catch you in the next one.